recently, we now maybe we would be more transparent. Maybe we would tell the players more about the development in itself, just to say, okay, don't worry, the game is going to be here. We are still working hard on it.
Mm.
Here are the things that we've been working very hard on. For example, I know that there's this game called Song of Conquest, which is looking really awesome. And on social media, on Twitter, for example, they're always saying new things about the game. They're always showing new gifs, and they sometimes even share some screens from Unity, just to involve their players, to say, okay, we are making a game, we are making it for you. Don't worry, it's going to be okay. And yeah, I think that we could have done it, but other than this, maybe being more transparent, I'm not sure, because it's always about some choices. And as I said, we were very happy about the wish list. I mean, we had nearly 100,000 wish lists before the release, so that we were very happy about. So yeah, we like to say, okay, we did good, but maybe we could have done better.
Yeah, no, it's always good to kind of like look back and assess, and I love that you called out that part too, because I think what can happen in a lot of cases with just teams and devs is they look at it as like, oh, one more thing and it's not that important. But then, especially if they already have and put the energy into building a community, and then and if it gets dropped off the radar completely,
Yeah.
it basically becomes a pattern. And I think part of the reason some people might not want to post an update or something, it's like, oh, we don't really have anything to talk about. But
Yeah.
like, but when you're looking, if you're at ground level, always seeing the same kind of the same activity going on from your perspective, it may appear or seem like a whole lot of nothing is going on. But from a high level or outsider perspective, there could be a lot, especially if
Yeah.
they're not checked in day to day. So having those interactions, from what it sounds like you guys are calling out on, is that it just shows, it keeps a pulse. It doesn't mean that you need to make a huge marketing push or anything, but when people see the progression of things, as the example of that other studio you mentioned, always sharing pics, it does create excitement. It could get new
Yeah.
players in. It could do all these other things to show and prove that this is going to be a valid product, and it's worth my time to, at the least, wishlist it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I even have a very recent example, like from yesterday, because right now we are working on our next big update for the SPL, since it's in early access, and players actually started to wonder, okay, where is the update? I need more content, dead game and all. And so yesterday we posted a blog post on Steam, and it was didn't really have a lot of content. Most of it was like, okay, everything that we promised on the roadmap is going to be in the next update. Don't worry, we are very working hard on it, and it's taking us a little bit of more time than we anticipated. But don't worry, we are here, and players are very happy just because they could see us writing something for them, and just showing that we are still alive and still working on the game. And yeah, sometimes you don't necessarily need a big marketing beat, a big trailer and all. Sometimes all players need is just an update, just to show that you're still working on the game, and they will get it soon.
Yeah, exactly. And to think in that perspective of like, hey, you're looking to serve people in terms of providing them entertainment, providing them a game that they're interested in or may be interested in, and in a way, by just keeping them in the dark in a bit, especially if they already invested some time and interest in you,
Yeah.
you're in a way almost disserving them. And it doesn't seem that
Yes.
way, it doesn't feel that way, but it's really the truth. And a great indicator, and also a way of opportunity there too, is if people are asking for it, then if it's one person even asking for it, there's a great chance there's a lot more that aren't.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
All right, great. Love that you expanded a bit further on that, but as we're coming to time here, I'd love for you if you had, like, I don't know, just a few tips that you would like to share based off of our discussion, and kind of ways to try to crush your Steam marketing. And yeah, what tips do you have for us?
Yeah, I mean, all right. Maybe I could start by saying that when you announce your game, you need to have everything ready. I mean, announcing a new game is always very stressful for dev, and in particular indie dev, because it's like your one time your one shot at being hyped from the players. But you need to have everything ready. It means that your Steam page needs to be very high quality. Don't hesitate to maybe have the Steam page proofread by other people. You need to have a nice trailer that's actually showing some gameplay. You need to have, of course, a press kit, maybe a Discord server, a Twitter page. You need to have everything ready so that players can actually have a place to wishlist the game, and to maybe find other players who are waiting for your game. I think that's the most important thing. The other thing that I don't know, maybe tell other developers, is that you need to look at your competitors, but also be wary of survivor's bias.
Mm.
When you make a game, you need to look at the genre. Is it oversaturated? Is it empty? What kind of game the other developers are making? Are the other game actually meeting some success? If you see just one game in your competitor that is a huge success, and the every single other one is failing, then maybe you need to rethink. Maybe you will say, okay, why would I be the 1% that actually has some success, and why wouldn't I be one of the 99% that actually failed? And yeah, you need to look at your competitors. On the internet, there are some great tools to look at your competitor. You need to look at SteamDB, which will let you find the number of wishlists from your competitors. You need to look at the number of reviews on your competitors. You need to look at how they message their game. You need to be aware of the market, because if you want your game to actually have some success, you need to ask yourself, is my game viable? Will my game actually have some success, and why would it be?
Yeah.
And the final suggestion I would say is one that I told earlier in the interview, is to put yourself in the shoes of your players. I mean, I know there are a lot of devs who say, okay, I'm the target audience. I know my players better, but sometimes you don't necessarily do. I mean, you need to understand what they will, how they think, what they will buy. Do you have several types of players? Like, I don't know, maybe some of your players will be more interested about your story. Maybe some of your players will be more interested about, I don't know, fiddling with the combat, and maybe try to be the best in the game. So yeah, you need to understand your players, and you need to ask yourself, as a player, why would I buy this game, and why would I? What kind of information am I looking for to know if this game will actually be good for me? Because yeah, I don't know, like for players of tactical RPG, what they want to see is the combat. They need to see the combat. They need to see the UI. They need to see some beautiful attacks. They need to will your game have some charismatic characters, for example? So and how do you show it to your players? So yeah, you really need to put yourself in the shoes of your players and not necessarily say, okay, I'm the target audience.
I absolutely love those points, but especially the last one, and because it's something that comes up regularly with even my clients and stuff too, where it's like basically always asking that question, right? So if you do something new, like a trailer, if you do a screenshot, whatever it might be, you make an update to the game, and you have a logical explanation or reason why you made that decision, but then now ask yourself, what would it be like for the player? And really think from their perspective. And again, not leading in with, well, I am the audience. It's like you don't know that for sure because it's you and not them. So I love that last one. That was perfect because always be asking that question and really understand and put yourself in those players' shoes. Couldn't have been a better one. So thank you for that.
Well, thanks. And to do that, one maybe bonus. And to do that, you can absolutely go to communities on Reddit, for example.
Yes.
What is very cool to make is that, I don't know, if you're making a visual novel, for example, the visual novel community on Reddit are great, and maybe you can do some, I don't know, some market research. Maybe you can have some Google Forms with some questions, and so you will understand what kind of games, what kind of things the visual novel players are looking for in those communities, and that will help you put things in perspective as to your expectations versus their expectations.
Yes, that is a very, very good bonus tip. I can't remember if we ever recommended it on the show before, but it goes without warranted. It's something I do myself with Reddit posts too, to like, any genre game, there's definitely a subreddit for it, or even in specific games that you're kind of comparing to in the market and such. Ask that question, like, and this is one I ask all the time, like you said, what are some things that this genre is missing? Like, that could be a super easy one, right? And just make sure you're very clear and direct, as we kind of talked about before, but in another context, because sometimes, those Redditors can be lethal in terms of, or interpret things very differently. So clear and direct is good, but good bonus one there.
Thanks.
Well, Bruno, I really appreciate your time here on the show, and this has been awesome and hopefully extremely insightful for everybody. But before we go, I would love for you just to share your website, means that people can reach out to you if that's okay, and obviously share your titles again too, and what's the best way that people can learn more about you, Ishtar Games, and your titles.
Oh, well, thanks. If people want to reach out to me, the best way is on Twitter. I'm H3GOR, Igor with a 3 instead of the E. Maybe I will share with you the link.
Yep, we'll be in the show notes.
Okay. And if people really want to reach out to me, well, my DMs are open and they can just come and ask me some question. So just come and ask me.
Okay, cool. And what's this website for Ishtar Games?
Oh, sorry. Okay. The website is ishtar.games.
Simple.
Yeah.
And that's where they can also find obviously more about the studio, but also all your titles and everything there too. Perfect.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, Bruno, again, can't thank you enough for being on the show. It's been a pleasure to have you as a guest.
Well, thank you a lot for having me.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening to another episode of Indie Game Movement. I'm Andrew Pappas, your host, and the show's producer is Mustafa Price. If you enjoy and value the show's content, you can support us even more by going to Patreon and visiting www.patreon.com/IGM podcast and select the tier that best suits your needs. Show notes for this episode can be found by visiting rengenmarketing.com, the number episode of the show. Rengen Marketing is a consulting marketing company that helps indie devs with their marketing efforts. Whether you need guidance with your game's marketing strategy or could use a free marketing plan template, then please visit www.rengenmarketing.com and take action. A special thanks to Dakota Saw for Season 2's opening theme and Melissa Gellis for the new logo design. And as always, thanks for being such great listeners.
and we'll see you next time on Indie Game Movement.